Hey, good morning. You know what goes really well with a serious conversation? A big bowl of tricks. Alright, here we are. Video number 2. This is the video where I give you all of my opinions that you've been waiting for. So hopefully I do my best to explain them appropriately. Okay. Before I answer the questions, I just wanted to make a little disclaimer that this is a tough subject, and a lot of subjects that we cover on this channel are very, very difficult to answer because there's one of me, and you guys are an entire community of people, and you can never speak for everyone. And I just wanted to let you know that these are my personal opinions, and I'll do my best to give them to you honestly and sort of back up what I think, but I don't want you to think that I'm speaking for the entire trans community, because there are endless sites on YouTube of trans people who are giving their own opinions, so check out some of those as well. And I hope that it starts a discussion, that you maybe learn a little more and think to talk about it with people that do have different opinions. So it's really more about respect for me than it is about opinions, because education is not always a smooth ride, right? It's a little rocky. So there's my disclaimer, and on to the questions. Question number 1. Why do you think people, even in the LGBTQ community, have such a hard time accepting those in the transgender community? I want to split it into 2 parts because I didn't think many people touched on the straight aspect. The first part of the question says, why do you think people? So it includes all communities. So if coming from middle America, from my experience, I've found that it's difficult understanding something you don't know, right? Straight people don't understand why people are gay. And it took a lot of educating to get people to realize that it's just natural, you know, like guys wake up wanting to kiss girls, you know, there are girls that wake up wanting to kiss girls. It just happens like that. And that's okay. But it's not, I guess, quote unquote, normal according to cultural standards, and it has been, you know, for decades now, but it's getting more and more like commonplace. That's not really the greatest word to use, but people are educated about it and they're used to seeing it, and so it's not as big of a shock. And the trans community is not as widespread as the gay community. There's not as much light shed, and there's everything that's in the media is kind of doesn't portray us accurately, I don't think. So I can understand why the straight community would have such a hard time accepting why someone would want to go through changing their physical parts to become a different gender, because most people don't wake up wanting to do that. As far as the LGBTQ community goes, this question I could probably talk about for hours. At first, there's the same token, understanding equals acceptance, right? So if you don't know anything about the trans community, then you're not necessarily going to accept it right off the bat because you may not understand it. And on a second notion, I think that I've found that there's this sense of betrayal, at least coming from the lesbian community. I came out at 15 as a female lesbian, and spent, you know, almost 6 years in that community, and so I'm used to that female socialization, and I'm extremely comfortable in women's places. Like, I was surrounded by women because I was raised by women, and I was socialized as a woman, and I spent so much time in the lesbian community. But I found that there's this sense of betrayal about going to the other side, about going straight, or about passing, or about making your life easier by becoming a man. And there's a lot of stereotypes, I guess, I've gotten about liking women and transitioning into, like, physically into a male appearance. Like, I've just gotten a lot of flack because people don't understand why I'm not okay just being a butch lesbian. And it's not so much about the clothes that I wear or about the people that I hang out with, because I still hang out with all the same people, and honestly, to tell you the truth, I still date all of the same types of people. As a lesbian, I dated lesbian women, I dated straight women, you know, I dated women. It didn't really matter. And it's still the same way. So I didn't necessarily gain any privileges in the dating world for transitioning. It was just more about people seeing me as I see myself. Because there's a level of confidence and self-respect that you gain when you feel like you're really understood, right? Like, we all just want to be understood. And if you don't feel comfortable as yourself, just as a being without anyone else, then it's going to be really hard to be confident enough to gain that respect from people and to get that understanding that you're looking for. And so it wasn't possible for me. Like, it wasn't worth it for me to live as a butch lesbian because I wasn't happy. I didn't identify that way because I wanted to. I identified that way because I didn't think that I had any other option. Like, I wasn't educated. So, I don't know. I think that if I wasn't socialized as a woman, if I maybe had a stronger male influence in my life, that I maybe would have realized that I was trans a lot sooner. But that's a completely different video. So, I'm rambling. Question 2. Would you consider dating a trans male or female? Yes. Yes is my question. Yes is my answer. You know, any transition or any sort of soul-searching or journey that you go through in life, it affects you. It changes you. It changes your perspective and the way that you think about things. So, pre-transition, I was not interested in males at all. No masculine characteristics. No one that had a male being, like a male personality, or portrayed themselves as male. I was not interested in, like, physically. But since I've transitioned, I sort of, I don't know, I found that that transitioning your gender often has caused many people to take a good look at their sexuality and the things that they find attractive in people, and, you know, and many other aspects of their life. And I found that a lot of people have realized that there are more characteristics about people than about genders that that they're really attracted to. I mean, and that's just coming from my community. So it's not so much about the label that you heap than the connection that you have, you know? I mean, and that's really cheesy to say because I know labels are important in culture, you know? Like, we use them to define people, and I understand that they're not going to go away. I'm just saying that through looking at myself and through looking at the things that I need to be okay with and that I'm working through, I've realized things, characteristics that I like and that I seek out in other people. And it's really helped to understand why I date the people that I do. So, some consider them more fluid than others. I'm still predominantly attracted to females, yes, including male to female. Trans people, I personally have never been involved with a trans woman, and I've never gotten the opportunity to meet one that I was really connected to, but that doesn't mean that I'm excluding it. I mean, it's always an option. It's just more about the person for me, you know? But I guess, I don't know, I guess you expected that. Alright, question number 3. Question number 3. What if your girlfriend told you that they were male to female, or told you they were planning to transition? What would you do? Would you question your relationship? Okay, this question has a million parts. So if my girlfriend told me that she was male to female, I'd want to know. Like, I would hope that she would feel comfortable enough with me to talk to me about it much sooner than I feel like this question portrays. If my girlfriend told me they were planning to transition female to male, I'd be supportive. I know that a lot of people this week have said that it wouldn't change your relationship, or that they would be as supportive as possible, and I genuinely believe that they would, but until you go through a transition in a relationship, it's hard to say what you would do, you know? Coming out as trans and deciding to transition, I was in a relationship, and I told my girlfriend that I was planning to transition, and depending on how long you're with someone, they get to know you, you know, as a person, as a whole being, regardless of if you feel disconnected to parts of yourself, or if you're not completely okay. They sort of have this idea of who you are, and naturally people change over time anyway. But transition is like speeding up that time. It's like time warp, you know, because so many things about you change in such a short time that if there's not a great foundation, some relationships fall apart, you know? Because whether we'd like to believe it or not, females and males socialize differently. So there's a big gap that trans people have to go through with, you know, I had to learn how to interact with males. I was socialized by my mom and my grandmother, so I am great with women. Not just in a dating sense, but, you know, as friends. I have all female friends. And so I just had to enter this world of people that I couldn't relate to, you know? Like, even though I knew that I'm male and that this is how I want to portray myself, I couldn't interact. And so, you know, my girlfriend couldn't help me with that. And I went through all the stages of emotional change. You know, guys use less words, and they're, you know, generally speaking, they're quicker to anger, and like the emotions that you react with are naturally different because of the hormones, and so that's also a change. So if my girlfriend told me that she was planning to transition, yes, I would be there. Obviously, I would have so much knowledge now to be able to share with her, to make it a little easier, which I would be so thankful for, because I really wish that someone close to me could have been there to walk me through it, you know, because it's hard.